Yeah, I'll just start addressing the Jorge Lopez situation because I know you guys have questions, but I'm not going to get into the details here. Yesterday, when I was doing my press conference after the game, I told you guys that we were going to address the issue internally, which we ended up doing. Obviously, we made that decision. The timing and how everything went down. Like I said, not going to get into details on that. Obviously, we have standards here, and I told you guys yesterday that behaviors like that, we were going to tolerate that. So that's what we made the decision. We addressed it, and now we got the Diamondbacks here in town.
Questions for Carlos? Will?
Carlos, I know you said that you're not going to get into the specifics of it, but just could you explain a little bit about what was it about the behavior that led to that level of DFA?
Yeah, look, when you're not playing well, guys will show emotions. There's frustrations, but there's a fine line. And yesterday we went over that line, and we're not going to tolerate that.
Tim Healy?
Was it the emotion bubbling over on the field or in his interview that ultimately caused the punishment?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the details of the timing, whether it was the field, the interview. I told you guys way before he talked to you guys that we were going to address this internally, and we made the decision.
Is it correct that you spoke to him, you and David spoke to him before he spoke to reporters?
That's correct.
And at that point, you had not DFA'd him?
I'm not going to get into the details there. I know you have to answer those questions, but I'm not going to go when the decision was made. I told you guys we were addressing this, and we did.
Manny?
Just as a bilingual person who's been in the game for a while, what was your reaction when you saw the interview?
I wasn't happy, obviously, but look, yeah, let's move on from that.
I have another one. Given his history with mental health last year with the Twins, I think he took 15 days for some mental health issues. Did the Mets offer any services of that?
Look, out of respect of individual, like I'm not gonna get into his personal life and his personal situation here with him. So,
Laura?
Just in terms of his post-game comments, do you feel like language barrier at all was an issue for him?
I don't know. That's probably he'll answer that one better.
Ron? There's no mic.
Was the DFA decision solely based on the behavior, or was on-field performance a factor in it?
Well, look, I mean, this guy took the baseball every time we asked him. He's one of those where he was always available. This was more like we have standards here, and yesterday was one of those where we felt like we needed to do something.
Mark Sanchez?
Carlos, understand you don't want to get into specifics, but his comment about the worst team or him being the worst teammate, did that factor into the DFA decision?
I'm not gonna, it's like the back and forth here. I'm not gonna get into the details here. I told you guys we were making a decision, and we were going to address it, and we did.
Peter?
How did he react to the news of the DFA?
He didn't say much. He was respectful, but he didn't say much.
Will?
Carlos, yesterday, a few of your players talked about processes and preparation that sounded pretty broken. How, as a manager, do you go about fixing that or making sure that these guys are either preparing better or their processes are improving?
Yeah, it's not a lack of effort. They're working hard, but this is a game of adjustment, and these are some of the conversations that we're having. Where, maybe an adjustment here in your preparation, the way you prepare something that you haven't done that you should be working on, just things like that. That the game will dictate. Like I said, it's a game of adjustments, and it starts with your preparation. Like the fact that they got together yesterday, and talk about accountability here. So yeah, when we talk about our process, you're always looking for ways to get better. You're always looking for ways to improve. And that starts with your preparation. And, that's what some of the guys are talking about here, that, we just got to continue to push each other.
Anthony?
You just touched on it a little, but when you were in here last night, were you aware that they were about to hold the meeting, and what were your?
I was not.
So what was the reaction when you walk in and you see that going on?
I liked it, because, if not, obviously, as a manager, I wanted to get the team together. But the fact that guys got together, I liked it, because it's important for them to let it all out. And yesterday, I thought with them calling that meeting, it was needed for all of us.
Tim Healy.
What were your experiences with Lopez like before yesterday?
Fine. Fine. Like I said, this guy was always available. He took the baseball. He was a professional. Yeah, he was fine.
What is Pete Alonso's status?
Day to day. He did some fielding drills. I got to go check with him and see, whether he's going to be able to swing a bat or not. But, everything came back clean. So we dodge a bullet here. It's day to day.
Do you have any sort of backup anything on the infield tonight?
Yeah, we got, DJ Stewart play first. Obviously, we'll move people around if we need to. Hopefully, we don't get to that point, and hopefully, Pete is a player for us.
Ron.
Was part of the reasoning in the decision by you, David, and the team that to send the message to the team that there's certain ways to behave even when the team is struggling?
Yeah, that's, I'm talking about standards, right? And when, again, there's going to be times where you're going to see frustration from players, but there's a fine line. And we thought yesterday that, behaviors like that we're not going to tolerate.
One more from Peter.
Jorge posted on Instagram today saying he meant to say teammate. Just what was your reaction to him going out and doing that?
Yeah, he's a human. Obviously, probably, made a mistake, but yeah.
Mark.
The other side of the DFA is you've got a pretty thin bullpen that's been struggling. Just how do you feel about the state of it right now?
Guys will step up. We'll continue to mix and match, and then guys will gonna have to get big outs for us, pitch them high leverage situation, and we're confident with the guys that we got back there.
When you signed Lopez over the winter, was his potential volatility reacting to bad outings something that you and the organization were aware of at the time?
I mean, look, I seen him pitch a lot, and he's a competitor, and you see some emotions out of people, and I saw it at times, but he's competing. He wants to win. He wants to do good. But I think yesterday, went a little too far.